And we are live for a new episode of the Electrek podcast. Everyone, I'm Fred Lambert, and as usual, I'm joined by Seth Wintraub. How are you doing today, Seth?
I'm good.
All right, I hope you are, because we have a ton to talk about and some very exciting stuff. But before we do that, let me just thank our sponsor for this week's episode. Today's episode is sponsored by Momentum, a new brand of lifestyle e-bikes from Giant Group, designed to deliver a full range of innovative electric, hybrid, and city bikes with premium features, long assist range, and sensor technology that offer natural riding experiences that are both energy saving and fun. We're going to have a little bit more to say about them later on the show, so stay tuned for that. But we also want to thank our other sponsor for this week's episode, SplitVolt. The SplitVolt splitter switch automatically shares power from your existing 240-volt dryer socket with your level 2 EV charger. We're going to have a little bit more to say about them too later on the show. Stay tuned for that. But what we're going to start today, it's not actually an article from us this week because I haven't had time to write it yet, but also I need a little bit more time with the truck to do it. It's about the Cybertruck. We're going to talk Cybertruck because I finally got my hands on one. Just good timing, basically, because I'm here for the Ford Mustang Mach-E rally that was unveiled this week, but the driving impression I cannot share until next week. So we're not. I could talk about it a little bit, but not much more than what we already talked about a few months ago when they released the specs and pricing and all that. So the core of it we'll keep for next week when we can talk about it. And then we have Rivian coming up next week. That's going to be exciting. But in the meantime, I'm like, let's stay in Seattle and make it a little like workation, all of it. So
Awesome.
I need a vehicle to do that. And Ford's vehicle couldn't work. I was hoping to get a Rivian actually because like you spend a lot of time with a Rivian. Obviously, you test drove a lot of them and you own one.
Yep.
But I'm the one driving it the next gen now, and I'm like, oh, but I don't have so much experience with the current one to compare it and everything. Unfortunately, they couldn't make it work. So I'm like, all right, well, let me just go on Turo and find some electric car that's gonna be fun to drive. I'm always looking like Teslas are always interesting, especially if I'm gonna drive a lot. I'm like, I like autopilot and all that. That can be good. But then I saw a Cybertruck. I'm like,
Uh-oh.
oh. And it was the only one in the area and everything. I'm like, let me see if I can talk to this guy. I can make it work. And we could make it work. So I got it yesterday. And it's been an experience for sure.
Well, let's hear about it.
Yeah. Before going into the driving impression, I want to make it clear that this is like, I've been spent a day with it. I put like less than 100 miles on it. My impressions are already changing through that, and I expect my impression will change throughout the week as I spend more time. I get used to some of the more like quirky features of the vehicle. But first off, let me talk a little bit about the attention you get with the truck, because that in itself is a feature. Like it's so strange, and there's good and there's bad that comes with that. Like I went to a supercharger and I just plugged in. I'm like, let me get some work done, pull out my laptop, and like, all right, I'll start working for the day. And just people just kept coming over, kept talking. And that's nice. That's cool because mainly it was like my people, like electric vehicle people, just want to learn about it, and that's really cool. But like started gathering a crowd really at one point, and as you see more people coming in, you like get more comfortable talking. Like, oh, okay, he's willing to talk, so people just basically thought I was like a Tesla salesman at this point, which is fine. But I also drew in some like homeless people of that like, hey, are you from the future? Things like that.
And yes, I am.
Yeah, I didn't want to confuse them more than they already were.
Oh, yeah.
Where I'm a lot more concerned about the attention is on the road. On the road, it's a little bit crazier. Like some of it is fine, like people that will just like stop at a red light, like take a quick picture. But sometimes you see people driving and fumbling with their phone as they drive past you. I was picking up my girlfriend at the airport last night, and as I was driving on the highway, pretty busy highway, but we were driving still pretty fast. It was a good flow. And there was a Model Y that like pulled up like right next to me as I was like changing lane, because he tried to pass me on the right, but he wasn't passing me on the right. He was trying to get a picture or like trying to get my attention, whatever. I actually didn't see his phone, so I don't know. But like things like that, I feel like are way too dangerous. Like people, I get you're excited about the Cybertruck. I am too, but when you see one out there, like safety first, please, because I actually have some guy that I didn't see it on the social media, but I saw one of the guy that went up to me at the supercharger was like, yeah, I saw someone like on the social media crash into a Cybertruck because he was trying to get a picture and everything.
Wow. I mean, I guess we have to expect that initially. Like, I got some stuff initially when I got a early Model X, and we would open the back doors and the kids would hop out. Um, but eventually that'll wane off. Like, 2 or 3 years from now, everybody will have seen one. They'll, have gotten in one or whatever. So it'll be a little bit less.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's fair. I think it's gonna go down. So like, right now it's a smile machine. Like yeah, I was parked at one point doing some work, and I saw a bunch of people were driving in front of me. So every time I would just lift my head, and sure enough, I would catch their face, and there was just a big smile, just pointing at it, like look at that.
Was it laughing with you or laughing at you?
Because I think they were just like, it's such a weird thing to look at. Like
Yeah,
if you've never seen it in person, it's
it
kind of
is weird.
yeah, it's just something to
There's
see.
nothing. There's nothing like it, really.
Yeah, so whether you hate the design or you love the design, it's interesting to see it. So it makes people smile, which is like, I think that's a net positive for the world.
Sure.
Now again, I don't think that's gonna keep, like you said, that too will go down over time. As just when there's hundreds of thousands of them on the road, people will just get used to it, and it won't do that anymore. Those will keep smiling, though, I think, is the one driving it, because it is a blast to drive. It doesn't drive like a truck at all. It drives more like a Tesla than anything else. And the drive-by-wire thing is well implemented and feels awesome. Like one of the first, like I said, my impression are changing over time. When I first got into the truck, I was like, what is this wheel? Like, I've seen it. I've used the Model S Plaid before, and the wheel felt big. I don't actually know for a fact that the Model S Plaid wheel is bigger, but it feels bigger in my mind, especially for a truck. You get inside a truck and you're like expecting like everything to be big, everything's bigger, but the wheel is just so small. I'm like, what is this? And I wasn't not as much concerned about the shape of the wheel itself, because I knew it's drive-by-wire, so it's progressive steering and everything. But at first, it just didn't feel comfortable in my hand because it was so small. After an hour or so of driving and like adjusting my seating position, as I was getting more comfortable with the car, adjusting the steering wheel position, I found actually a position that I'm like, this actually might be the easiest way to drive ever. Like, especially on the highway with the progressive steering, I got a position where both of my elbows are resting nicely, and I can grab the wheel just slightly, and it make it smooth, like not to have autopilot. And I haven't not have autopilot in a Tesla driving on the highway for years now, so I barely know how to drive on the highway anymore. When I did the Mach-E drive, I mean, I don't know, then no, I cannot even say that because that's driving impression, I guess. But when I drive non-Tesla vehicle on the highway, I feel like I don't know how to drive because I always drive on autopilot on the highway. So it gets some learning time. But with the Cybertruck, it felt incredible right away. The turning radius on the thing is insane. There's you call that an hairpin turn, right? When you go like this, like you go right back.
Yeah.
Is that? Yeah. Okay. So
Like
right up
right.
the where I'm staying right now, there's an hairpin turn that goes down like that. And I first approached it, I was getting nervous about it. I'm like, I have a giant truck and gonna pull out, and I don't see the cars coming the other way. So I thought I will encroach on the other lane, basically the lane coming up. I was able to do it flawlessly without encroaching on the other lane. And that's clearly thanks to the rear wheel steering that gives it a very tight turning radius. I think it's like similar to the Model S, which to be fair is also like a long car, but not a truck. The right suspension is absolutely awesome. You can drive over potholes, you don't even feel them. I parked the car with the right wheel over a curb, and I didn't realize it as I was doing it.
Wow.
I got out of the truck, and I look at my truck, and it barely looked like it was off because the suspension was just taking it.
Right.
I was like, oh shit, I'm on the curb. I did like with the giant off-roading tires, like I didn't actually break anything, but man, yeah. So far it's great. Now they're good, and I'm keeping an open mind. Maybe I'll get used to them. The the gear shifting for me, like actually, I can even go more like larger than that. Everything that has to do with the reasoning of like we're so close to self driving, so these things don't really matter. Uh, I don't agree with, because first of all, this truck drive awesome. It drives great. So even if you're 100% sure that within, let's say, a year you're gonna have full self driving, I still gonna want to drive that truck. Like, let me have a best driving experience possible. And it feels like there's a few things that they didn't do because of that self driving. The gear shift is one. I think Elon even admitted that when he first introduced it to Model S and X. Like the gear shifting, the stalk is like, remove that. It's gonna be self driving within a few months anyway. That didn't work out really well for Model S and X. I don't think it's probably gonna work out better for Cybertruck because we are getting closer, I think, but it's still gonna be a while. And it's just not intuitive. Like, I feel like you give me a stock on it, or give me even like I do like the Mach-E dial thing. That's also pretty nice. Like, give me something that I know I'm locking it in. However, I'm open to like seeing actual like data. If Tesla comes up with actual data that shows that this swiping thing ends up in fewer miss gear than the stock, like, okay, like I'll concede, but I don't know if that's the case, and I do know that personally it doesn't feel intuitive. It doesn't feel nice, at least not more than a gear. But again, I spend a day with it. I'm sure you get more used to it for sure. The other one that in the same category of like, we're getting close to self-driving, so who cares? The rear view mirror is very dumb. Like I've been driving for like 16, 18 years, whatever. You're used to using a rear view mirror, and now with the tonneau cover on, it's useless. So you have to use a camera, which is not unusual in a car and everything. Okay, but and you want that tonneau cover up because, one, efficiency, and two, there's not that much cargo space in the truck. Like, the front is not gigantic, so you're using the back for even from luggage and things like that, which you're gonna want to have the tonneau cover down for that, obviously. Sorry. So now the camera, you have two options. You can have it on the left side, I think, which feels a little bit more natural. So you don't have to go too far, look too far. It feels closer to the natural turn of the head for the rear view mirror. Or you can have it to the right, and that will be a little bit further out, but it won't hide half your driving visualization screen, and also like remove the spots where normally in your Model 3 or Y you're gonna have the navigation card. Now that has to move to the right too. So like it feels like a bad implementation. Like, you could, they exist out there. There's plenty of cars that have it as an option, and there's aftermarket products that do it too, where you have a rear view mirror that doubles as a mirror and as a screen with a feed of the rear view camera. I feel like Tesla could have just done that, and it would have been a much better experience. Though at the same time, I'm saying that, but the rear camera is also like fisheye view, and even on the screen, it doesn't look great. Like, the cars look way further out than they actually are. So I don't know, like, if that would have been even worse if that wasn't the camera. But I don't think it would have been worse, because they do like this very thin screen on the center display, so it would have been very similar to the rear view mirror. So I don't know. It doesn't feel, and that's something that I would have liked to see Tesla do, because we've seen others do it, and it's pretty good. But Tesla's implementation of software and hardware together, they probably could have improved on that experience and make it. But it feels it's one of those things that they're like, let's not bother, because the car's going to be self-driving in 2 years anyway, or a year, whatever you want. They are thinking internally. So yeah, these two things are my main gripes so far, which is not huge, to be honest. It's not like that big of a deal. The blind spot that you get from the crazy pillars in the front over the dash on each side, not ideal either. I'm not gonna lie. I've seen there's already, again, driving for a day here. There's already a few occasions where when you're at a T-shape intersection, like in a perpendicular intersection at a stop, sometimes I get surprised by a car like coming my way, because if we arrive at the stop at the same time, and let's say that there's vegetation or buildings like hiding the perpendicular street, sometimes if you're right at the same time, the blind spot from that giant um, pillar just hides that view completely. It hasn't been dangerous so far, but it has surprised me when I'm turning into a turn from a stop sign, and then whoa, there's a car right there. I'm like, hey, where did you come from? So that's not ideal either. The car that I got, the Cybertruck all-wheel drive, is completely stock. And one of the selling point is like, it's stainless steel exterior. It's like very rugged. Like you don't have to worry about it too much. But you have to have it treated or have a PPF film on it, I think, because otherwise it just looks disgusting all the time. Like the fingerprints on the doors. Speaking of the doors, that's another thing I think Tesla cheaped out a little bit on. I do understand not having anything on the outside for the look, because the look is very clean like that, other than the fingerprints. But you have to put your hand inside that metal thing, that stainless steel, to pull the door. And we've seen others use that the Mach-E, for example, have that too. But they do put some kind of rubber inside to like not have to grab like metal like that. I don't know, like in winter conditions and everything, like normally you have gloves and everything, but without gloves, I think it's going to be weird to do that. It's already weird in the summer right now. So in like high sea conditions and everything, I don't know how cool that's going to be. But those are relatively small gripes compared to the actual driving experience of the vehicle so far. Like I said, I'm loving it. I think it drives awesome.
I'm really curious about the range. I know you're early on in your.
Yeah.
Is it hit it? A typical Tesla will never like get exactly the range, but
Yeah.
how far off is it?
I've driven less than 100 miles so far, and so far it has been pretty accurate. The range prediction has been accurate. I have 318 miles on the full charge, the car is saying, which is not bad. But I'm gonna do in my full review. I'm gonna share all the energy efficiency data from once I've put more miles on it. And I want to do full charging session too. I've done like a quick charging station right now, but I was already at like 200 miles when I did the supercharging station, so it's not very representative of what would be in a road trip situation or something. And we do know that the Cybertruck with the 4680 cells from Austin, they do have some problem right now with charging. When I say problem, they don't charge as fast as the 2170. So, and Tesla did say last month that an update should be coming this month, I think, for that. We haven't seen that yet, but I'm gonna have to review it as it is right now, and then we'll see when that update comes out. But yeah, I mean, very. My review would be like, I know I already posted some of my like quick impression on Twitter, and like everyone is like, Fred's gonna shit all over the truck like he does with everything Tesla. I mainly love it right now. I have some of my gripes, but those are normal. Like there's no car that's perfect, and this one is certainly not perfect. I've
What about
seen,
the sharp edges? Is that a concern for you at all? Like
yeah, I
closing
mean,
the door or whatever?
got to get some views set. So I'm planning on putting my hands on the front and breaking some of my fingers for some views.
Chopping them off. All right, nice.
Yeah. So many people are doing that. It's crazy. Yeah, I mean that they are sharp, and you have to be careful. But I don't think that's that big of a deal, to be honest with you. Um,
I think
the
I think with kids it might be a little bit different. I don't know.
Yeah, but even then, like the actual edges are not like you won't cut yourself on it or anything like that. Like they're rounded up a little bit, so you won't cut yourself. It's just the front basically.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you close it, you have to be careful. But that's true of like most front, and there is a squeezing detection system. So I think that's mainly overblown in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But the sharp edges, like Elon was right about the fact that any kind of misalignment is going to be super visible. So this is a brand new truck, like it has less than 500 miles on it. The VIN number is in the 10,000, so it's a fairly recent truck. Probably some improvement there that already was implemented. It looks pretty good, but even then, it's like a few like less than a millimeter misalignment, and they are super visible because of how sharp those edges are. I mean, I would have accepted delivery of this truck if I was the buyer. Honestly, it looks pretty good. Um, but he's right. Like they do jump to your face when you see them because of that. You see those same misalignment of less than a millimeter on any other vehicle, including like a Model 3, Model Y, Model S, whatever, and you wouldn't see them, wouldn't bother you. Um, yeah, I mean it's ton of fun. Like it feels like early days of Tesla when you like you said when you got your Model S and you put your kids in the back and like people are like, "What are you doing? Putting your kids in the back?"
Yeah.
Like it feels like that. Like people stop. Like I put my even though like we are in a very nice place, like I wouldn't be worried too much about the truck. I put my Sentry mode on just for fun because I like to see people like stopping by and watching the
And
car.
gawking. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I can put the fart mode and just fart in their face, or I,
That's
I
lovely.
put I put the microphone on, and I see them taking pictures, and I'm like, hey, it's $5 per pictures. Please put the money on top tires, thank you. Like just things like that because normally I wouldn't put the Sentry mode on, but I know that people are gonna stop and watch that car, so
Right.
it's funny. Um, yeah, I mean, great impression so far. I'm looking forward to spending the week with it because I believe that probably like the thing like the gear shift are probably gonna get used to it, and by the end I'm like, it's not that big of a deal. The blind spot maybe less so.
I mean,
Yeah.
this is a question I'll ask you in a week,
Hmm.
because you'll have a week with the Cybertruck, and then you're also going to have some time with the Rivian. But you did have both reserved,
Still do.
and which one are you going to take delivery of? Do you think?
Yeah, probably like you said, probably this week. This week and then the next one because there's a few days of the Rivian experience on
Right.
the next one. Like I got an email, actually a text message yesterday from Rivian Quebec that's telling me, hey, we're setting up the service center. We're preparing for deliveries. Like right now, we're matching the first VIN for first Quebec customers, Rivian Quebec customers. So I'm like, hey, let's wait a little bit. Let me let me try this out first
Right.
because I haven't spent much time on it.
And you don't want to get one of the old R1s when the new R1s are coming up,
Yeah, that's also a good point. Yeah, so
or
we'll
not.
see.
I don't know, because we don't know yet if because I heard that the new R1s are smaller, and they do have a heat pump, which is going to be good in Quebec, but
Yeah,
this and that.
I've met a few Rivian R1T owners here.
Hmm.
Yeah, R1T, and everyone is happy with it. Like, not that's not saying everyone. I talked to one guy that had some service problems, but for the vehicle itself, like people are super happy with it too. So we'll see. Because obviously the Cybertruck is not perfect either. Like it just not only the gripes I just said, but pricing wise, like value wise, and
Yeah.
like we'll see the efficiency of it too, which is a big deal for me. Like I'm kind of an energy efficiency guy, and this is a big part of it. Charging, obviously.
Hmm.
So we'll take everything into account, and I'll try to give you guys like a better summary next week and a full article on Electrek with a full review of the vehicle. All right. Should we say a quick thanks to our sponsor, Momentum?
All right. Let me jump over there. All right. Today's episode is sponsored by Momentum, a new brand of lifestyle e bikes from a giant group designed to deliver a full range of innovative electric, hybrid, and city bikes with premium features, long assist ranges, and sensor technologies that offer natural riding experiences that are both energy saving and fun. From best in class technology to everyday comfort and that extra something something that will turn heads, the team at Momentum has designed a growing selection of two-wheel rides and accessories inspired by you. Whether it's a leisurely ride on a new Vita E Plus low step, throttling up on the new Ceto E Plus, or loading up the Pack Yak E Plus cargo bike for a day with the family, Momentum has e-bike and accessories to fit your lifestyle. Since Momentum is a bicycling brand under the Giant Group, customers take advantage of access, support, and service from over 1,200 brick and mortar Giant dealers in the US alone. Perfect for easy maintenance to keep your e bike in tip top form. Learn more at momentum biking.com. Thank you to Momentum for sponsoring the pod.
Yeah, I've actually haven't heard of Momentum. I know they are brand new under the Giant Group, but they have some very clean looking bikes there.
Yeah, the Pack Yak is really cool. The cargo bike.
Yeah, I thought I saw it
Eyeballing that one.
earlier, but I lost it. No, no, yeah, it's this one here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this street bike here. This is like like complete stealth e-bike. Like you
Yep.
cannot even tell it's an e-bike. It's a rear motor, and you don't see it behind the gears here. It's like
I think so. Yeah.
yeah, wow, okay, that's clean. All right, thank you Momentum for sponsoring this week's episode of the Electric Podcast. Let's do a few more news articles, then we'll talk to about Split
Okay.
Vault too. Um, all right, we got a little bit of a teaser from the Robotaxi this week from Tesla. Tesla released this this new video, a little bit of a controversial video here, because it's all about Elon's pay package. Tesla is in full-on campaign right now to try to resell, I should say, the pay package to shareholders. And it looks like they're getting a little bit nervous. Last week we talked about them paying for ads for it and everything like that. Now they really produced this real nice video that Elon wanted to make sure that he had nothing to do with. He shared it as the Tesla team put this together of their own volition. I did not ask for it.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And the video is kind of what we accomplish at Tesla and everything, and Elon is a big part of that, which is fair. But so he deserves his package and everything. And so then there's two quick images that are part of that video. One of them is nice because it confirms one of our report that we posted a few months ago that the Robotaxi is the NV93. So we reported that Elon canceled the NV91 and NV92, which was the $28,000 vehicles based on the Unbox platform that were not geared necessarily towards self-driving, but like more like they had a steering wheel and everything. And he wanted to focus on the Robotaxi, which is the NV93. And there's this image that looks, so I should put a disclaimer here. Like these images, like Tesla put them in there. Like there could be a few reasons they put them there. Because it could be a teaser for the Robotaxi, or it could be an actual, like they were very early concept images and the vehicle has changed since. So it doesn't mean that these are the Robotaxi, but I would assume that they could at least give us some hints of the Robotaxi design. Mainly the biggest one probably, and I would doubt that this changed since then, is that looks confirmed that it's going to be a two-seater, two-door, two-seater. It looks like very likely to me. So the first image you see here, you see a side view of the cabin with these seats. The second one looks a little bit different for the seats. Like it's a similar configuration, but I don't think we can say that these are really the same seat. I have a closer image here on this one, but clearly, like you see a lot of Tesla, like minimalist dash, center display, fold down armrest here to separate the two front seat. But these seats, to me, said the first thing I thought when I looked at this, I was like, this is more like public transit seats than car seats. You agree with that?
Yeah, definitely. They definitely don't look like, like you're sitting back and like, driving. It's more like you're getting in. You're not, you're on your phone or you're, whatever. It's not like you're doing something. It's kind of like you're on. You put it perfectly. Like it feels like public transportation.
Which is probably what they're going for. Like they
Yeah.
want it to feel like just like, oh, you get in and then you get out, and it's not your car, it's something else. And this view here, you can see like the shape of it, like it's very aerodynamic, like classic, like a rounded hedge, but classic for Tesla. Not so much since the Cybertruck, but in general, the same like fan, like hidden dash side to side, completely hidden fan system. So very classic Tesla. But the exterior, we already got the pictures from the concept that was released in the Walter Isaacson book. And sure enough, after this video came out, and a bunch of people pointed out those pictures, and then Walter Isaacson went back to X, posted back the images from his book, kind of hinting and like, yeah, this is what I saw when I was there, basically. It didn't go as far as that, but I assume that was the spirit behind the post.
Mm-hmm.
So interesting stuff. But speaking of that video and Elon's effort to Elon and Tesla's, when I say Elon and Tesla's board's effort to get that pay package secured, Elon kind of stepped on it on again this week, not in a good way. And so if you remember the whole threat, some don't perceive it as a threat, some do. Like I think it's like playing with semantic at this point, but Elon said that he was uncomfortable building AI product at Tesla if he doesn't have 25% control of the company. That was in January. And a lot of people link this to the compensation package because obviously a compensation package would give Elon more control over the company, but not quite 25%. So I don't like to completely link it with that, but I do understand that some will, because I think you were the first to point that out to me when the judge decision came out. You asked me, do you think, because Elon said that just before the judge decision came out. Like, so you were like, do you think Elon knew that this was going to come out and he wanted to set the stage already for like, I need 25% or you don't get these AI product at me? Which, impossible to confirm, but if you add all the pieces together, it does paint a picture that makes sense to me, knowing what I know about Elon.
Yeah. I mean, I just don't think you can have two companies that are doing AI at the same time. Like, I just don't think that's
Not
it.
one that is public where you own a minority share, and one that is private, you own a majority share. It's highly problematic. So, a lot of people discuss those comments uncomfortable. What does that mean? Do you leave Tesla? Do you not work on the AI product at Tesla? Do you try to funnel away product from Tesla? Which obviously this is not a legal thing, but there's definitely things you can do, and it's not like Elon is completely above like doing shady things too. So we don't know. But now he basically clarified those through, something that he does sometimes is like he doesn't outright say something, but he leaves some of his sycophants say it and then like it or even
Right.
respond to it. In this case, like if it was just a like, I would have let that one go, people. But this one, Tesla economics on X was like complete sycophant, and one of his main thing is like he just posts things that Elon says and hope that Elon would just retweet it, which he does. Um, and this time he posted this, and Elon responded yes to it. And what he posted is, if Elon gets 25% voting power, Tesla is reincorporated in Texas, and compensation package is approved, then AI and robotics stays within Tesla, and the company can march forward to become the largest company in the world. So to me, that does sound a statement like, if you give me this, and this, 25% voting power, Tesla move to Texas, compensation package is reapproved, then AI product stays at Tesla. I really don't like the phrasing of any of this, because it's a clear statement of if this, then that. And the that is that those products stays at Tesla. So first of all, I understand people that you cannot really funnel products away from a company. It doesn't work like that, but it does sound like that's what he's saying basically, because he's saying stays. Now I know that in the last earning call, he did say something about if you're not at Tesla anymore in relation to that, possibly leaving with that stuff. It was like, which I don't think he's going to leave, by the way, if he doesn't get his package. But anyway, that he believes Tesla will achieve self-driving, but he was like not so sure about the Optimus robot, which he says like Tesla's valuation as the largest company in the world is based on that too. And he put Tesla as an AI and robotic company, and he's made moves recently that push Tesla in that direction, slashing vehicle programs that are important to Tesla as an automaker, focusing on Robotaxi, which is an AI product, focusing on Optimus, which is an AI product. So all these things are based on his own world, critical for the company. He even said, if you don't believe that Tesla can achieve self-driving, if you don't believe Tesla is an AI company, you shouldn't invest in the company. So now he's saying you should invest in this company. And by the way, I won't do this product at Tesla if you don't give me 25% of the company, which is very strange. And again, it's not just about the approval of the package, which is listed as a demand here basically, but if my understanding is that if that goes through, which I think it's like 60% chance that it's going to go through, then Elon will get, I think, around 18% after selling some shares for taxes, because when those shares vest, he's going to have to pay taxes again. That puts him to 18%. So that gives you two other options. It gives you need an other compensation package and one more, a very big one again, worth tens of billions of dollars, or you need to reclassify, do a new class of shares for Tesla that gives Elon shares more voting power, which he suggested that might be possible. It's not possible right now, but if the move to Texas is approved, which is going to be harder than the package, because the package is just a straight majority of voting shares. The move to Texas needs to be an overall majority of outstanding shares, and it's not everyone that vote their shares. So a no vote is basically a vote for no. So it's problematic. It's a lot more difficult, so, which is why Tesla is like trying to get as many people to vote, and obviously trying to vote a specific way. But yeah, so these are the two options. Which, the second one, it's not too crazy, because like 25% is not a majority, but it's not like Elon doesn't have that much, like doesn't have enough power at Tesla. He can do whatever he wants at Tesla. Like no one is stopping him, and that is why we are having to revote on the compensation package right now, because Elon has too much undue influence on the board, and the board is not doing anything to stop him to do anything. So he has basically more than 25% voting power at Tesla. He can do whatever he wants, but it's not voting power. It's actual like executive power. He has 100% executive power at Tesla. I think we both agree on that.
Yeah. I mean, so, have any analysts kind of put together a like, all right, if Elon doesn't get the money, this is what happens. If Elon does get the money, this is what happens. Because I kind of feel like, as shareholders, I would want to know, and I do own a very small amount of Tesla, but I like that 55 billion. Does that just go right back into the savings account? Like what?
Well, the share haven't been exercised yet, so
Right.
it doesn't do anything effectively right now. It just doesn't. It cancel the further dilution of Tesla stock, but there's not many serious people that have actually like done a great analysis of like what is going to happen. A lot of unserious people have shared their opinions, obviously, and because the thing is, we have no idea what's going to happen, because it's completely up to him and in the board. They gonna like the vote itself doesn't change much of anything. Like people say, oh yeah, the vote, we vote yes and everything is fine. Like not really, because there's going to be more lawsuit, especially when the guy tweets something like that. Like this tweet, Tesla's lawyers had to share it with shareholders after that, because they find it to be material to the vote. So yeah, it's super problematic to tweet something like that, and most likely would result in lawsuits. I'm 99% sure of that. So either way the vote goes, it's going to be up to Tesla to decide what to do. If they vote no, I mean, I do the only reason I like a no vote and I voted my shares no on everything that the board recommended is against everything the board recommended, is to send a message to the board, and Elon too, I guess he's on the board.
Yep.
That we take the governance issues highlighted by that judge, and highlighted more recently by the lack of action of the board against a CEO threatening to move critical product away from the company, to send them a message like, we're not okay with that, do something about it. Obviously also there's a direct vote on Kimball and James Murdoch. That is a little clearer. If they don't get reelected, well, that helps, because now you have to get new people reelected, and that's not going to be easy, obviously.
Right.
But that combined with, if you get the no on the package, it does say like, we take these issues seriously. You have to address them before we move forward. Because right now you have just an army of Elon fans that just say everyone that votes no just are reneging on the original plan, and they don't want to give Elon money. It's not about not giving Elon money. It's about Tesla addressing the issues that led to him having his compensation package rescinded. That's what people are not understanding. Like, no, when I say people, I mean Elon fans. Even if we vote yes again, there's going to be issues again. There's going to be lawsuits again. It's not going to go smoothly. Like, people keep going back to like, the only reason we're here is because a bunch of lawyers saw an opportunity to make a lot of money and found a shareholders with 9 shares willing to sue to screw Elon and screw Tesla shareholders. That's all true. Everything I just said is true. That you're correct if you think that. However, you have to think a little bit further than that and think, why did he see that opportunity? Why was there an opportunity in the first place? And the opportunity in the first place is because they saw that Tesla's board had a serious governance issue, and that issue is now highlighted by the situation we're not in. So it needs to be addressed, I think.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate we've arrived at this situation.
Yeah, I agree with that. The hiring freeze at Tesla with the layoffs have seemingly ended because Tesla started a bunch of new job posting, but only for one department. And I'm gonna let you guess which one it is, Seth.
Is it the self-driving, or is it the
Everything that
robotaxi?
has to do with AI and robotics.
Right.
So some other people posted that they're also hiring in manufacturing, but no, actually, these manufacturing thing we're already, they never left. It was like an educational program. So it's the new job postings are really about AI and robotics, mainly self-driving. At least it's not like all Optimus stuff. And Elon has positioned the company for self-driving or nothing. So it makes sense that he's doing that. Well, at least he's consistent in that. Still on the self-driving stuff, the new update for 12.4, which hasn't made it to customer just yet, apparently coming end of the week, next week, something like that. The release note have been released, though, for the internal fleet. So we have a little bit more details on it. It's nothing crazy. Like it's basically what we heard before. The nag has been removed for the steering wheel, but there are some significant conditions. So Tesla writes, when full self-driving supervised is enabled, the driver monitoring system now primarily relies on the cabin camera to determine driver attentiveness. This enhancement is available on vehicles equipped with a cabin camera, and only when the cabin camera has clear and continuous visibility of the driver's eyes. The camera is not occluded. There's sufficient cabin. So these are the terms for this no steering wheel lags to work. The camera is not occluded, so you cannot put a tape over it. There's sufficient cabin illumination. So sounds like it cannot be at night, or we'll have to see. And the driver is looking forward at the road ahead and not wearing sunglasses, a hat, a low brim, a hat with a low brim. So if you put your baseball cap too low, or other object covering the eyes. So this is kind of, like, this is a little bit behind on that because there's other cabin monitoring system like even like the Blue Cruise from Ford that you can have sunglasses on. I don't think you can have mirror sunglasses on, but you can have sunglasses on because technically with the I think Ford's you can have sunglasses or face covering, but not both because like they use more like the angle of the face, like the nose, for example. So if you cover your nose, it's not working because you can tell if someone is looking forward even if they have sunglasses. You cannot tell if they're falling asleep though, but this actually has other points that they can look at if they're falling asleep than the eyes. So that's interesting. So yeah, Tesla's kind of going around the closing the loophole for sunglasses basically. Which is good, but I think you could allow sunglasses to a certain degree. Outside of these circumstances, the driver monitoring system will continue to rely on combination of torque-based steering wheel and vision-based monitoring detect driver attentiveness, which is the situation we're in right now. So yeah, I'm looking forward to try that. I will still keep my hands on the steering wheel, obviously, even though you technically won't have to now, I guess. But I strongly recommend it because you need to be ready to take control. And yeah. By the way, this is the update that's supposed to have a 5 to 10x improvement in the miles per
That'll be interesting to
intervention.
check out. Should we do our second read?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. This week's episode is also sponsored by SplitVolt, the company behind the cream of the crop in new electric vehicle home power accessory technology, the SplitVolt splitter switch. This new EV home appliance safely and automatically shares power from your existing 240 volt dryer socket with your level 2 EV charger. Just plug it in with your dryer and EV charger. That's it. Save thousands by skipping the installation of a new level 2 circuit and using split volt to automatically and safely power your EV charger. Don't be fooled by cheap copycats lacking safety certifications or critical features such as internal circuit breakers. Trust SplitVolt, a U.S. company, innovator, and market leader. Visit the company's website at splitvolt.com to learn more or check out their mobile level 2 EV chargers and other EV accessories. Thank you to SplitVolt for sponsoring.
Yes, thank you, Splitvolt. They have great stuff on their website. And just show them you should all go check it out. All right, we have a few news items to discuss, and then we're going to jump into the comment section. I've talked a lot about the Cybertruck earlier, so we're a little bit long, but we'll try to get to it as fast as possible. So if you guys have questions, you can put them in the comment section below, and I will try to answer them. It can be about things that we discussed today or other topics in the EV world, and we'll get to them in a few minutes. Still on Tesla, one more. The Megafactory officially broke ground this week in China. So this is where they're going to produce the Chinese mega pack for the Chinese market, another regional market. It's based on the mega factory in Lathrop, California, which is still ramping up to 40 gigawatt hour. But they anticipate that there's so much demand for it that they can already build another factory. This one's also going to produce about 10,000 power mega packs per year, about 40 gigawatt hour. Now the timeline has been updated with that, so that the original timeline was Q2 production in Q2 2024. So obviously it's not going to happen now. Then it was pushed to the end of 2024 when there was an official signing late last year. And now with the official groundbreaking, they are thinking more first quarter 2025, which is still like pretty fast because, it's basically less than a year to production. This is, but, Tesla's Chinese team, when it comes to production and manufacturing, are always super impressive. Moving on from Tesla, Scooter did the first drive in the Chevy Silverado EV RST.
Big boy.
So, we're gonna get over it. I strongly suggest that you go read the post and look out the video on this very YouTube channel. Very interesting stuff. It was, you loved the experience. It was clear. But there's a few interesting things I think that came out of this drive program from Chevy. So obviously, this is the long range pickup truck. Out of all the pickup truck out there, they have this 200 kilowatt hour battery pack in it, and it makes the truck look a little bit weird. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, it makes it look have a very high stance because they have this just giant pack underneath it. It's when you first look at it, you're like, oh, there's something weird about it, and it's tall. It makes it look tall, but it works. At Electrek, we have already been like, you don't need that much batteries, you don't need that crazy range. We always try to focus more range anxiety with range prediction rather than just adding more range all the time. However, when we
infrastructure,
so that's true. Obviously, that's very important, and that's important for this too. But we can admit, though, for trucks, for work trucks, and this is very much a work truck, you want to tow with it, you want to load it up and go long distance with it. It makes sense. So obviously 440 miles of range on this is without towing. But what it means is that, if you are towing, you're still going to get most likely than not over 200 miles of range. And that's, a lot for most application. I strongly suggest you go check it out. Scooter's post on it. He demonstrated a lot of things like the mid gate here has like two configuration tailgate. It's pretty good. So also they have this cool representation of the usefulness of the gate itself. At some point, I miss it.
I mean the basically the back of the truck bed opens up and you can put stuff like, right out the back. You can also drive around with it open. Kind of like a little bit like a convertible.
Trying to find it has to be here, right? No. Oh yeah, here. There was a better picture of it though. Here. We have okay. So they put these plywoods in the truck to represent like just how big it is. So they go all the way to where you can close the tailgate here for the Silverado EV RST, and then you see the Cybertruck second best in the back, third best the Ford Lightning, and then the even R1T as notoriously a shorter bed. So I think this is a good representation, and people have. Those
needs. Last three are pretty close, but yeah, I get it. Yeah,
and everyone has different needs, so it's not like it's not a bad thing or a good thing, but I thought this was interesting for people that, like, if you're looking for a big bed right now, you want an EV, Silverado EV sounds like it's your thing.
Also, obviously, towing. If you have to tow something big a long way in the cold, this is probably going to have the most range of any
It
EV out there.
arguably your only EV option right now.
Right. I mean, I guess you could do the Hummer, which has the same battery pack, but
Oh
that's
yeah, yeah. I haven't seen many people tow with the Hummer. I think it's more like a luxury vehicle than a work vehicle for
I
people.
actually know somebody with a Hummer EV now, and
Mm,
he loves it, and he tows.
mm. All right. The Kia EV3 was unveiled this week. Not fully unveiled, but the design and some specs was released. No pricing yet. We don't even know if it's coming to the US, to be honest.
I hope it
But
does.
yeah, we sure do, because I love I think Kia and Hyundai are like some of the dark horse of the EV revolution. Like, I think they have some really cool things going. And Kia I like a lot because they're a bit like Nissan in term of, like, their design are always different. Like, they don't have a clear design language like Tesla does. But no, I guess the Cybertruck threw all that
Yeah.
of the table. But for the most part, like Model S and X, Model 3, Model Y, Tesla had a clear, like, design language. So I do like the fact that they just threw the Cybertruck in there. But Kia, like, every one of their vehicles, they're their own thing, which I find interesting. And this it's its own thing. The EV3, a compact SUV, crossover, whatever you want to call it, expected to be sold for under $30,000. That's the expectation. Again, they haven't released pricing just yet. So we have a lot of pictures now here. So it's the design that's been unveiled more than anything. I don't know about the wheels. They remind me of the Mini Cooper electric wheels. You remember those?
Yeah, the wheels are weird, but the wheels actually make it look a lot different. Like, I feel like if they were normal wheels, it would look a lot more like a, Volvo EX30, or
Yeah, you're
like
right
I said,
about that.
Volvo
The back.
EX30 with like a kind of a Chevy Bolt thrown in the back end or something.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
like it. I absolutely love it, actually, but it does have, it's reminiscent of some other vehicles, and in a completely good way. And my God, if anybody is listening over at Kia Hyundai, we want this in the US. Please, please, please send this to the US.
We're begging right now.
Yeah.
The interior is clean too. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I do like this center console. You have a big enough cubby here, like for a purse or something. Yeah. By the way, the Cybertruck is like a old school Model S when you're able to pull a bag or your purse on the ground next to the center console.
It's
So
just a big hole.
yeah, this has not, like, they have something here, but it looks big enough to put something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they uh Kia, with the EV9, kind of, this design language is a little bit like that on the interiors, especially. And I think they kind of, you know, premiered all this kind of thinking there. I mean, Kia is on the ascent in terms of brands. I mean, what, 10, 15 years ago, Kia was like a bargain basement brand.
Hmm.
And now they're coming out with some of the coolest stuff out there. And I think, I mean, I would almost say like they're almost like leapfrogging Genesis in terms of like the cool stuff they're putting out. Like, Genesis obviously has like a bunch of luxury and, the stitched leather and all that stuff. But in terms of like desire, I feel like Kia is like almost at that level.
Yeah, I agree with that. This is the GT line, so it has different wheels too. That
Mhm.
these are unique. Like I said, the other ones remind me a lot of the one in the Mini Cooper Electric. This is brand new design, and it's interesting. I kind of want to see it in movement. Slightly different interior too, I should say. All right, there's some spec. The EV3 will arrive with two different battery sizes within the SUV GMP platform. So same platform as Ioniq 5, EV6. The standard model utilizes a 58.3 kilowatt hour pack, and you have a larger option at 81.4. That 81.4 gives you a crazy range, though. I haven't seen the spec for the standard range, but the longest range, they're talking about 373 miles, 600 kilometers. That's on the WLTP, but still, you're talking about over 300 miles on EPA, most likely.
Mhm.
Um, it
That's
has,
real miles.
a small motor, 150 smaller motors, 150 kilowatt and single rear motors for the rear wheel drive. Great charging, that's usual for Hyundai and Kia, 10 to 80% in 31 minutes. And if it comes to North America, maybe it comes with NACS and can charge on the supercharger network. That would
Hmm.
be quite a vehicle. Kia has vehicle to load capabilities, iPedal 3.1 technology. Yeah, and it's coming to Europe. So it's launching in Korea first, as usual, in July, and then uh, coming months after that in Europe. I haven't said, like we said, anything about the US, about North America, but Seth and I are on our knees right now, asking them to do it. Just do it.
Just do it.
We have some news of some retaliation from China. So China is, there's a lot of talk right now about Chinese tariffs since the U.S. quadruple the tariffs from 25 to 100% on EVs coming from China. Threw a wrench in a lot of people's plan. Well, through a wrench. Well, we saw it coming. Like the administration was talking about it for a while now, and I think they also want to be a little bit tougher with the elections coming, and God knows that if someone is tough on China, that's Donald Trump. So you want to keep up with that. But what is going to happen? Like as soon as you put a tariff on someone, they're gonna put a tariff back on you. Though the Chinese are a little bit softer. They're talking about up to 25% tariff on import EVs. And it's in retaliation from the EU probe they're talking about, because the EU is probing right now about doing something similar that the US is doing, and a lot of Chinese EV manufacturers are entering the European market. I've already entered the European market and are expanding there right now. So it would be a bigger problem for them if EU follows the US, because the US, there's some automate, like it's a problem right now for Polestar, Volvo, and a few others. But I think most of them are already looking at deploying factories in the US, so they were looking to mitigate that anyway. But brands like Neo, BYD, and a few others that have big investment in Europe already, that would be a problem for them. Now, I doubt they're gonna go like full US at 100%, but if China is talking about 25, I'm sure EU is talking about 25, and they're gonna do that. Now, for the US EVs in China, I don't know how big of a deal that is. Like, who's importing EVs from the US to China? Tesla, Model S and X. Other than
I
that,
don't think there's a lot coming over. Maybe some Cadillacs and some Buicks. I don't know. Buick they make over there.
yeah, Buicks they make it in China. Like most of U.S. automaker and European automakers are partnering with
I
EV
mean, it's
companies in
probably
China.
stuff like Corvettes and like weird expensive things that people aren't really going to freak out about a 25% tariff
Yeah,
on.
there's gonna be some Chinese millionaires that are gonna have to pay 25% taxes on those. Lucid announced cutting their U.S. workforce by 6% today. So they filed a new 8K filing with the ACC to announce the restructuring. So they emailed all the employees today also, saying that they're gonna cut the job. It's not gonna affect the hourly manufacturing and logistic workers. It's only gonna affect employees at all level except those. So including leadership and mid management level, representing a 6% cut on the entire workforce. They're gonna it's going to be over time, though. They say that's going to be until Q3 2024, by the end of Q3 2024. So we're still in Q2 right now. So, it's going to be through a full quarter here. It's not going to be like someone coming into a company with a chainsaw, just cutting around everywhere. We've seen that before recently.
Who are you talking about?
Just a general example.
Okay.
So there's going to be also severance payment, employee benefit, and stock-based compensation. Lucid expect around 21 to 25 million in charges. About 19 and 23 million will be primarily reported in Q2, and then the rest will bleed into Q3. It's Lucid is losing money on all their cars right now, and they need to tighten the belt to survive until the Gravity comes up, and the Gravity is expected to be sold in much greater volume than the Air. Especially in the U.S. And you have this nice little chart here too that kind of tell you why this is happening.
Yeah.
It's called a stock price charge.
Hmm.
But they still have some money. They have big backers in with the Saudis, so they they're
Nobody's
yeah,
freaking out yet. I did
yeah.
go to the Lucid dealer in the Westchester Mall, and I was like, "Hey, when are you getting the Gravity? I want to check it out." And they're like, "There's one in the East Coast, and they're moving around store to store. So
Hmm.
call your local if you're in the East Coast and want to see it. Call your local showroom and figure out where it is."
Yes. All right. Ford is following Tesla in bringing out. Well, they went even deeper than that for the Mustang Mach-E. They bringing 0% APR. So Tesla just brought like the 0.99% APR on the Model Y. So Ford is getting one even crazier at 0%. I don't know if there are specific terms on this. Don't see anything specific about. Okay. So 4 year went from to 1.9 from 2.9. So if you want a 4 year, you just pay 2% basically. And then if you want the 60-month term, it's 0.9%, just like Tesla. And then the 72% term are 2.9. So which one of those
That's
zero?
6 years.
Yeah,
People are leasing a car for 6 years. Jesus.
buying. Well, it says these are financing terms. Yeah.
Oh yeah. God, it's a long time. I mean, rates will probably be down by then, or not. I don't know.
Hmm.
Who knows?
I hope so. I do
Yeah.
hope
Geez.
so. All right, let's jump into the comment section.
All right. Seth and Fred swap beards. That's true. Question: have you all heard anything lately about the level 2 charger connector that was installed as part of your home's electric meter panel? Uh,
I'm
Not sure
confused.
exactly what you're referring to there.
I don't own any level 2 chargers personally, even though I have two EVs.
Really?
Oh no, that's not true. Technically, I'm the one that installed the one at my parents' house when I was staying there. So
So how do you charge at home?
I charge on 110 volt. I have no problem with 110 volt personally.
Really?
Yeah, never had any issues.
I mean, I did that for a while as well, but I didn't know you were in that camp.
Yeah,
I
I'm
thought,
I'm
don't
I'm
don't you
planning
have
on
like a
doing it.
crazy electrical system? Like,
Yeah, that's in my garage. In my second, like, I have a separate garage, and I have a crazy one there. And I'm planning on doing like I haven't touched it since I bought the house, and it's kind of it used to be like a mechanic's garage for semi truck, so it's weird looking garage. So I'm planning to renovate it at some point, and when I do that, I'm gonna put one. But I never had a need for it. Never had it.
interesting.
I work from home. I don't
Right.
have kids to be a taxi for or anything like that. So
The schlepping.
normally I come home and I plug it for a while and just I'm fine.
All right. Thanks to Tiga85. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Personally, I would like an independent assessment on the utility and safety of the swipe to shift. Tesla has vested interest in promoting their technologies, not objectivity. Uh,
Yeah. Well, I shared my opinion already, but like yeah, it's one day of using it nonstop, and like in parking lot situation, like right now I'm in this Airbnb that's in the middle of a park of like a state park, a county park, whatever. And it's as a very weird like parking. It's a public parking situation, and I have one spot that's reserved for me because there's happened to be like a little cottage in the middle of the park that I'm renting right now, and it's really weird parking situation. And to get in and to get out, I need to like go back and forth a few times to move this giant truck, and it just feels so weird to like go whoop 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 whoop, whoop like that. And and I'm being super careful. Obviously, it's not my truck, so I don't like I swipe and I'm making sure like okay, I'm reverse, I'm in drive. While if you have like just one of those stock, it's natural. Everyone's done it at some point. I don't feel like the value of like not having it. Like it looks cleaner. I'm gonna give you that, Franz, and all the designer behind it. It does look cleaner. The usable experience is not great. I know Tesla just released the auto shifting. I couldn't unlock it on the Cybertruck. I know maybe it's not available on the Cybertruck just yet. Like I tried to unlock it, it didn't work. If it does at some point, I'm gonna try it, but I don't have high hopes for it, to be honest. But maybe after a week, I will like I got used to it and it's nothing. I don't know.
all right. Moving on. Question: if in retrospect the Tesla truck had been more conventional and conforming to traditional form factor, doesn't the Cybertruck seem now like an epic blunder?
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that, because uh, there's so many people that hate it, but there's enough people that love it that it's gonna most likely be a successful vehicle program in volume, in term of volume. I had this guy come up to me yesterday while I was parked, and he's like, "Yeah, I have one in reservation. It's the first time I see it in person, so I'm so glad to see it in person. It is so ugly. I cannot wait to get one." Like it's so weird. Like some people just love it for being unique too. So there's some value in that. I think, like in the uniqueness of it.
Yeah, but maybe that's going to wear off, or maybe that's going to be something that changes over time. I don't know. I'm with you on that. Like currently, I think it's such a like it's more expensive than other trucks, and people are buying as many as they can make. So it's good, but I think at some point maybe it won't be as head turning. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, most likely it won't be. But it's a great marketing tool for Tesla. Like a lot of people like just asked about it. Like, what is this? It's a Tesla. Oh, cool. Like I know Tesla. I like Tesla. Like it's it makes people talk about Tesla.
True, true, true. All right. FSD Hopium. I think it's too early to say it's been a blunder. All right. Well, we'll see. When do you think the Foundation Series prices will fall off and price will go down? Ford and Rivian seem to struggle to sell trucks at 70K. So how will Tesla sell at 80K? And I think that's kind of what we were saying is, it's such a weird mobile in a good and bad way that they can demand a higher price because people who want to drive around and have people stare and take pictures and all that stuff, they're willing to pay a premium.
Hmm.
When that's not a thing that'll happen anymore in 2 or 3 years, then maybe that won't be a premium feature. Oh, this
Yeah,
might be
that's
for
fair.
you. I heard someone mention living in Quebec. Do one of both of you reside there? I believe that would be Fred.
Yeah, I think Rich already answered the
Okay.
guy here, so there's gonna be a little conversation that we can skip. To.
All right. Spikes 43. I don't think it's a blunder. The 150 competes against gas versions, and the Rivian competes against the Maverick and Tacoma at double the price. The Cybertruck has no alternative. All right. My
Hmm.
old boss is running Zoox, which has been operational for a few years. I don't know the context there.
Yeah, Zoox is automotive autonomous vehicle for like commuting. I think
Okay.
I haven't heard
Uh,
much about it.
so what? There's also a Zoox e-bike, but it's kind of like a
Oh,
BMX e-bike. Anyway, so what Elon is saying is you're going to get AI and robotics, but if you don't pay up my protection money, you're not going to get any control over it. I mean, kind of, but like that's not the most troubling part of it from an investor standpoint.
yeah. I mean, there's this great meme that's going on right now on X where it's like Elon like knocking at the door of like a little fortress, like and, like the guy like opens like the little sliding door, like what do you want? Like he's like, give me 25%, and the people there left like that is like, why should we do that? Is c- so I can protect you, and like the answer like protect me from what? From what I'm gonna do if you don't give me 25%, which seems about right. Like again, I agree with a lot of people. Like a lot of Elon, people are defending Elon, which is not even a defense, but they're like, he cannot take away AI products. He cannot legally do it, sure, but there's a lot of damage he can do as CEO of the company right now, and we cannot remove him as CEO of the company if he starts doing those damages
Right.
because the board is not like the board is backing everything he does.
Right.
So there is a governance issue at Tesla, and it should be addressed. And the only way I can see being addressed right now is to vote completely against the board on everything until they get the message.
Yep.
It's as simple as that.
All right. Plus, it allowed them to deploy the new casting technique in tech in a high price, higher margin product and then scale down. Something to consider. That is something to think about. Somehow he thinks he's Skynet itself. LOL. All right. We got a lot of Russell here, but maybe we'll move on. Uh, Skeptic says the key EV3 or Rivian R3. For me, it's the R3X. Glad to see both smaller cars on the horizon since Tesla decided to destroy itself by focusing on on a robotaxi nobody wants. I mean, the Kia EV3 could be here like at the end of the year or probably next year at best.
Hmm.
The R3 is like 2026 or 7. It's like pretty
Unless they
far off.
change their mind.
I mean, they can change their mind, but how do they scale up a car from like
Yeah, I mean,
the
scaling up
drawing
is.
board?
I mean, if they bring the R3 before the R2.
Yeah, I mean, or they make it a variant or something. I agree.
Hmm.
I would love to see it, but I just don't know that Rivian can pull that in their current situation. It's a amazing concept.
Hmm.
I drool over it. And I would also throw in like um, Volvo's got an EX30 like off road version coming. I think they said a year out, so you might want to think about that one as well.
Hmm.
Although that's going to be made in China and probably have 100% tax, so whatever. Or actually, this is just a total side note, but they're making Volvo EX30s in Brussels now, or they're ramping up to do that. So I wonder if they're going to export them from Brussels to the US and then China to the EU because I don't know. Anyway, it's just a weird
Hmm.
thing. All right, let's move through these a little quicker here. Dwayne O'Donohue, anyone looking at Canoe? Yeah, they're making like 4 or 5 cars a year. They have some, we saw a couple mail trucks, USPS mail trucks, Canoe ones. So
Hmm. Yeah, I've seen the images of that.
they're doing some stuff there.
Mm. They're
All
still
right.
alive. This is the
Yeah.
important thing.
He likes the Canoe vehicles, but the production is 4 cars a year. Oh, yeah. I must have saw that to think of that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a good investment right now, but I hope the best for them.
All right, Dan Overstay, replacing Kimball and Murdoch. If Tesla replaces those two with Warren, oh god, David Lee. Well, yeah, why not replace them with Omar? They'll be in the exact same sycophant board member position. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
I had to take a hard look because it didn't look like Seth. Did he lose weight in a beard? I have lost a little weight and I have lost a beard. So yes, that's me.
very good observation.
Thanks, Rich. It's what I thought given Fred's axe. Okay, all right.
I don't
You
have
know,
an accent. What are you talking about?
I don't know what anybody's talking about. All right, we're talking about Montreal,
Yeah.
Hummer for towing. The all electric family on YouTube does.
Yeah, I think I actually seen that, Dan. Yeah, I should look it up. It's interesting.
The EV3 front end looks a bit too much like the Lordstown Endurance. Oh wow,
Eh?
I don't even think I dedicated a memory cell to the look of the
Like, it
Lordstown
was a
Endurance.
pickup. It was a pickup truck.
Yeah, that's a weird thing. Lucid store in San Jose Mall has the Gravity on display, but it's roped
Ooh.
off. Okay, that's kind of what Tesla was doing with the Cybertruck early on. Didn't Tesla release 2023 autopilot data in February of this year?
Oh,
Question.
not aware of that. I said this week they posted it. I thought they posted the whole update since Q4 of 2022. If they did release the data before, I missed it. But anyway, I think my point is still good. Like they didn't release the data until it started getting better, and they stopped releasing it in Q1 2020. They didn't release the report for Q1 2023, which was one that looked bad. Like that was like a big reduction in miles per crashes between crashes. So yeah, I'm glad to see that Q1 2024 looks really good. Like it looks an improvement, even though the data is, it's not great data. It's only good to compare it against itself. Like you cannot compare it to anything else. But yeah, I think it's disappointing that Tesla just, oh, we'll stop releasing it now. Don't say anything about it. And it just happened that quarter was not great at all.
All right. Skeptic says, I thought the PT Cruiser was cool at first because it was so unique. Didn't hold up very long though. Yeah. I
It
mean,
was somewhat popular though. I in Quebec there was a lot of PD cruisers at one
was
point.
there? I
Yeah, I
remember.
agree that it's ugly, but yeah.
Yeah. All right. Over the years, I've traveled from the mid Atlantic USA to the Western USA and Canada. I have a family on Vancouver Island, West Van, and around Kootenay Lake. I hear Montreal is a great place to visit. Okay.
Yeah, you should visit it, especially in the summer. It's beautiful.
Hey, maybe he's got a place in Vancouver you can go hang out. Oh yeah, Tyler Hilliard's been I believe tech
There's no
DM.
way that it was that in February 23 because I know I'll look as late as like
Maybe he means
December.
2024.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's possible. I don't know.
All right, Fred. Thanks for the additional feedback based on your personal experience, and
Yeah.
that's the end
Again,
of.
I'm gonna have a lot more to say next week after. Oops, sorry about that. Next week about it. I expect my opinion to change, and my girlfriend is here too, and she, she's a video editor and everything, so she's gonna help me film a few things about it. So I'm gonna have some clear visual aids also for next week. I'm not just talking to you guys, so that's gonna be useful. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And then next week we're gonna have a lot to talk about next week because I think so with 24. Yeah, so I think the 28th is when I can talk about, and I can only talk about the GT next week. I cannot talk about the Mach-E rally, which is a bummer because I really want to talk about the rally. But yeah, I'm gonna be able to talk about the GT, which was a nice update too. Like we already talked about it a little bit, but I can share my driving experience. And then Rivian, I don't know what's not Rivian's gonna be the podcast in 2 weeks. But yes, thank you everyone for listening to the show this week. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and I hope you have a safe weekend. And if you do enjoy the show, please give us a like, a thumbs up, and all those things. They help the show a ton, free to do, and we appreciate when you do it. And we're going to use same time, same place next week. Have a good one.